man. Okay. All right, Pablo. Oh, Pablo. Pablo. His name is Pablo. 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 His name is Pablo. All right, hold on just a second, my friends. Oh, it just doesn't default. There we go. Cool. All right. Oops. Pablo. Pablo. Oh, you're such a good boy. Yes, you are. All right. I think we're good, Bobs. I think we are good to go. If we can see one thing here, and we're going to go over to this side. Go to that side. There we go. Sweet. All right, cool. All right. Oh, hold on just a second. There we go. All right. Scooby-Dooby-Doo, where are you? All right. All right. Let's pop this guy out here. All right. Looks like we're good, man. Yeah. All right. So first and foremost, thumbs up if you can hear me. Yeah, Pablo, man. Pablo's a nut, and he knows it. I'm not seeing a thumbs up yet. Yes. Okay. Cool. Thanks. Hey, right on. Dad, just got your email on the. I just read your email about the expansion of Social Security, and you and I are both in agreement. We can't believe we're actually saying we should have more government, but in this case, it's one of those things that makes sense to me. All right. So James in the house, Daniel, I'm going to look at your YouTube video. Much obliged. Thank you for getting that to me. I'm very interested in how to scrape the info. I cannot figure it out. I did the whole thing on Google Sheets with putting the HTML code and table, and I was able to get some of the data from like Ginnie Mae or Wellington Fund. I could get the dividend yield and stuff, but I could not get the year-over-year performance, man. So I'm looking forward to seeing your video on that. So much obliged there. And whenever you're ready to let people know about your stuff, dude, let me know. I'll be happy to promote it for you. I get people all the time asking for my spreadsheets, and my spreadsheets are so infantile, it's just not worth it. But Daniel's got some good spreadsheets, my friends, on Social Security, which when he's ready to tell me to share it, I'll be happy to share. Mike Hall, Mike M, right on. Kevin in the house. Snowy Rochester. It was a good day today. It was a little bit chilly, but the snow melted, and so we got 48, something like that. But it's getting cold again. Just real quick, I subscribe to the News Center Maine, so I get the highlights of Maine, the news up there. And 3 young children got killed this last night in a car crash. They hit a big tree head up, and I don't know. Look, I have no idea. I have no idea what the status was in terms of people being drunk, sober, they hit black ice or anything like that. But that's 4 children in 2 weeks' time that have died in car crashes. And this, I just, the whole thing about the coronavirus, the whole thing about just everything is the biggest issue still are heart and still are car crashes, and I think suicide has become one too. But I mean, I don't know, it just sad, man, because you're sitting there thinking all these people getting killed, and how many of them were just I got to work one more day, one more year, just I don't know. It's just one of those things that always just puts in the perspective to enjoy it while you got it, because man, you might not have it again. Anyway, how's that for a luring or optimistic place to start? Sad though, man. One was a 12-year-old girl. Her sister was in there, 14-year-old. Man, the father of 4, I just can't imagine. I cannot imagine. So my prayers are with that family. And I just, hey, Charles with Steve Wheeler, right on. Thomas Hall, Sheila Bedell. I haven't seen that name, so appreciate you being here, Miss Sheila. All right, so Tom asked a good question. Tom says, Josh, what do you think about M1 and their problems with getting the consolidated 1099s out in a timely manner? Was supposed to be done on February 5th, and now it's February 18th. I'm disappointed in M1, Tom. In fact, someone else had asked me about that. And I've actually taken the link off my web. Well, I didn't do it. My man David Simon, who does my website, I had him take the link off my website. I was disenchanted with that tax stuff. I still will use M1. I like it. I just that's the tax stuff is no joke. And look, man, every firm has issues with tax stuff. I get it. When I was at USA, we'd send out these updated 1099s like on March 30th. It's just horrible. And I mean, every firm does it, but this is my first year of using them and having seen this now with the tax forms coming out this late. It doesn't give me a good feel. Let's just put it that way. So I was disappointed. I'm not getting out of my M1. Don't get me wrong. I still like it. I still like what they do. I'm not closing my account or anything like that. I'm not going to be I'm not going to link to it on my website anymore. Just because that's the kind of stuff it frankly pisses me off. I mean, the tax stuff is you got to get that stuff in order. But I will tell you, if you have a K1, you should jump off a bridge because K1s are freaking nightmare dudes. And that's a limited partnership. So if you're a partner in a limited partnership and you think you're going to be investing as MLP, master limited partnership, you don't know what you're getting into. If you're, just any kind of K1 is a nightmare and they come out late, a hell of a lot later than you want from your own taxes. But if it's just basic dividends and capital gains, yeah, that doesn't make me happy. So I was disappointed to hear that about M1. Anyway, so and then with Schwab, I'm getting keen on Schwab. Let's just put it this way: I'm starting to see a benefit with Schwab, and I'm going to do another comparison to Schwab. Working with a guy yesterday, nice guy, and we were looking at Schwab or Vanguard, and look, I like Vanguard. I'm a huge fan of Vanguard, but I'm starting to feel a little bit more love to Schwab initially. We shall see where that shakes out. I'm not ready to make Vanguard number 2, but this guy was telling me, and I didn't do it. He told me, he goes, Schwab will give you the robo-advisor and access to financial planners like $360 a year, $360 a year, basically $30 a month. That has a lot of appeal to me. It does. Now, I don't know if it's a robo. I don't know how that investment situation is. I don't know how that is. I know I love the Schwab Intelligent Portfolios, and if that's part of the $360 a year, so I think he said it costs $300 to get set up, and then $360 a year, and you get the Schwab Robo Advisor, I think, and then you get an access to their financial advisories, their CFPs. I think that's a good deal. I mean, I'm excited to hear that. If that's true, I like that. The only drawback is you can't have Wellington outside of Vanguard. And I just love Wellington, and I've yet to come up with a better alternative. If you want, there's something on the laptop that's annoying me. But anyway, it's just the Wellington's so freaking easy, man. And I've yet to come up with a better alternative that keeps it as simple as Wellington than the Vanguard Wellington fund. And if you can't own the Wellington fund other than Vanguard, I'm still aligned with Vanguard. But if I can come up with a better idea, for me, it's just keep it simple, stupid. It's just really got to be keep it simple, stupid. And if it's not, I don't want anything to do with it. But now a lot of people, look at that. Oh man, it's working. Sweet. My man Scott told me about this thing called Wacom, and you just plug in your software and you can write so I'm doing like this. I don't know if y'all can see that, but I'm doing like that. And so now I downloaded their the Corel Draw, whatever it's called, and I can start to draw. I haven't figured out yet, but I'll start to be able to draw so I can actually split screen. I can have I'm doing my crappy old this stuff right here. I can actually do it on the screen for you all to see it. How awesome is that? So anyway, it works. Hey, look at that. That's freaking awesome. All right, so I'm leaning towards Schwab simply because I like I just think they have more offerings. There's no other way around that. And I like it. I like Schwab. I like Vanguard too, and I like the intelligent portfolio. A lot of people get upset. They got too much cash. I could not disagree with that more. Cash is an asset. It really is. Cash will suck wind when the market's tearing it up like last year, but cash is going to be the golden goose when the market goes down, which it will. So, by the way, Houston Roughnecks t-shirt and hat. That's what I'm wearing. Got to sport my new football team, the Houston Roughnecks. I hope the XFL stays in this year. I would like to see at least one minor league football for sure. I hope that Joe Horn was a wide receiver for New York. Couldn't believe it. Joe Horn. Remember him from St. Louis, from the New Orleans Saints? You should read about Joe Horn. This is just real quick for you football fans. Talked to a guy yesterday at my son's basketball game, and he's from Ohio State, and he was griping about a call from Ohio State. Was I can't remember. In the BCS, in the semi-championship, didn't Ohio State get a bad call? I said, man, you got nothing to gripe about. When Ohio State played Miami, remember when Clinton Portis was there, Miami got a crappy freaking fourth down pass interference call in their own end zone. And that was in 2000, 2001 or something like that. Long story short, that was when Maurice Clarett used to play. I can't remember the exact year. And he had mentioned that Maurice Clarett had set up a table outside of Ohio State games now and selling his autograph for $5. I said, that's sad. And it was kind of making – it's easy to bag on these guys. I don't know. You should watch some of the videos you should read about Joe Horn, for instance. I just remember he's the guy that pulled his cell phone out of the end zone, I'm talking about the field goal thing, the goalpost. And, I always saw what a punk. And then I read about Joe Horn, and that guy, no. Whatever negative I thought about that guy, take back. It's my own prejudice. Maurice Clarett got screwed no other way around that too by the NCAA. Anyway, so just have some sympathy, man. I don't know. I felt just the idea of Maurice Clarett sitting there, setting up a table outside the Ohio State football games to sell his autograph for $5. That breaks my heart, man. I mean, look, we all go through problems and stuff like that, but some of these guys are dealt with bad cards, that's for sure. And I was just anyway. So I'm hoping the XFL stays in. I'd like to see minor league football. I'm a fan for sure. All right, hey buddy, what's going on? Jill. So we got a new retiree here. Yay! Just retired last week. Woo-wee. So tell us, JD Thompson, how is retirement treating you? Huh? You missing it? We got Rich, Jimmy, what's up? We got Contractor Jay. All right. We got Don, Rich again. Dublin, Ohio. Less government, send us more money. That would get the retiree vote. Peter Hoffman's here. Daniel, right on. Right on. That's right. Houston Roughnecks, man. Pittsburgh in the house. The only Steelers I'll ever go for is the Milton Steelers, because remember Tim Lester from Pittsburgh, Brian? Well, he's a coach, the assistant coach of my boys' basketball team, and the junior football league, I don't know if they call it Pop Warner or whatever, but he is the head coach of the Milton Steelers Pop Warner football team. So the only Steelers I'll ever root for is the Milton Steelers. Yeah, drive carefully. Yep. Bangor, Maine. What's up, Chris? Good to be on there. Jerry, my man Jerry's on here. Chuck Haran, they just stumbled on my channel. I'm glad to hear that you stumbled. Better stumble than to tumble. So I appreciate you being here. Moon's in the house. Right on. All right. So do S&P 500 performance results include both capital appreciation and dividend yield? Great question. All right. All right, so there's two ways you can look at this, Moon. So the question is, when you look at, I'm telling you, people make this mistake all the time. If you're just looking at price to price or point to point or cap to, I don't know what they call it, for like index universal life or fixed index annuities, they never include dividends, and that's inherently that's a negative right there. But if you're looking at total return, so you got to look at total return, not just price return. I don't know if they still do this on Morningstar, but it used to say PR and TR is all you care about. You don't care about PR. PR It's just price to price. Who gives a crap? But you got to look at total return. So the nice thing with Yahoo is that they will adjust if you look at the numbers, all right, if you look at the historical data on Yahoo Finance, it will be adjusted for dividends and any kind of corporate action, stock splits, dividends. I guess that's it. So reverse stock splits, corporate action, stock splits, dividends. It will be adjusted accordingly. So you know that it basically is going to lower your cost basis because of dividends. If that makes not lower your not lower your cost basis, lower the price as if you had a higher gain, if that makes sense. Actually, a dividend reinvestment will increase your cost basis. It's confusing as all can be. But on Yahoo Finance, the historical prices are including adjustments in corporate actions for stock splits and dividends. And that's a big deal, man. That's a huge deal. If you're not looking at dividends being reinvested, you're leaving a lot of money on the table. I had a guy email me today or put on the YouTube comments. I forgot who it was. He said, would you reinvest the dividends on my barbell approach? I said, yes, please reinvest. I'm telling you, man, please reinvest the dividends, please. And I don't understand. I don't get not reinvested dividends. I think that's the epitome of dollar cost averaging is reinvesting the dividends. So not doing that, I think, is a huge mistake, and a lot of people make it. A lot of times you'll hire a financial advisor, and this I'm just telling you, man, I've been around the block. And they will not reinvest the dividends. They'll put it in cash. And so what they're doing is they're building up a cash bucket of money in which they can later on, when that bucket of money is up to 10 or 15,000 bucks, they can sell you another kind of product, structured product, a different kind of account. That's just bad. Don't do that. You reinvest the dividends without question. Extenuating circumstances by all means, but reinvest the dividends for sure. And going back to what you asked, Moon, if you reinvest the dividends, you want total return. That's what your gains will be, the total return with dividends reinvested. If you're not reinvesting dividends, you only want price appreciation. That's it. That's fundamentally flawed for a relatively long-term investor for sure. Vinyl Earthlink says he got an updated 1099 in September 1 year. Jeez, man, you kidding me? Marie K. Paso, Marie from Pittsburgh. No. So Rich says he switched from M1 to Fidelity. Now that Fidelity has fractional shares. I tell you, Rich, that was one of my reasons also to delink my accounts to M1. The fractional share stuff, the Schwabs, the Fidelities. At the end of the day, you can see M1 being purchased anyway. I mean, that's just what's going to happen. That's not. I mean, to be perfectly honest, I wonder if that's going to happen with Right Capital Software. M1 or eMoney was purchased by Fidelity. And, a lot of these firms, they build up essentially an app, or in this case, it's a website. The whole point is to be purchased by one of the big guys. And so M1, I could easily see being purchased. Betterment, easily. I mean, might not be tomorrow. In fact, I was watching, I don't know if y'all watch Clay Travis, sports guy, but he does a live, about 15 minutes a day, he'll do a video. It's not live on YouTube, but it's on a Periscope and Facebook, neither of which I'm a member of. But he was talking about how a lot of these sports, like Barstool Sports, other sports entity has been bought out for like freaking huge amounts of money. And I don't know if I imagine Clay, outkicked the coverage. I think he's been made quite wealthy in his, I don't know if he got purchased. I don't know how it works. But a lot of these young startups, they're not trying to disrupt, even though that's what they say they're doing. They're just trying to be bought out. And I could easily see the same thing happen on M1 for sure. I don't have a qualm with that. I don't. But it's kind of like, at the end of the day, if they're going to be bought out and they're getting late on the 1099s, why don't you just join the big guys and be done with it, in my opinion. As long as the big guys can offer what M1 is doing, and it looks like they can. So good comment, Rich. With MLPs, you might have to file state tax returns in multiple states. I'm telling you, man, this whole thing with MLPs, master limited partnerships, that was a big deal a few years back. And I just remember thinking, have you ever had a K1? If you have never had a K1, MLPs might look sexy. I'm telling you, wait till you get your K1s. Then Vinyl Earthling said he got an updated 1099 in September. You think the IRS doesn't care? Now, I will say, the IRS says, hey, we gave you a free extension. You don't have to do anything. You got to file the extension. We don't judge it. We don't quote. We don't do anything. But you get an automatic extension, you just got to file for it. Hell, my wife does freaking extensions all the time because we're waiting on 1099s. You know what I'm saying? It's a freaking pain in the butt. Tom says he'll keep his M1 for another year, but if they pull this crap again and he's out, yeah, I couldn't agree. But in fact, Tom, I tell you, I've had people, they filed or they went to their accountant, filed, and then they got an updated 1099s like in March, at the end of March, and they were freaking pissed. And they wanted USAA or this, because I worked at USA, to pay their updated fees. I said, we're not going to do it. I mean, at the end, USA is not responsible for, I mean, rightly or wrongly, USA or Fidelity, M1, they're not going to, pay for your extra, cost to see your accountant. I just remember those guys were pissed. It was not a good conversation to have, especially people were paying thousands of dollars for money management. I'll never forget. It's like, ugh. You know what else? Just real quick while I'm on a tangent. When I was at USAA, and I'm sure other firms do, I don't know how Schwab does it. I don't know how Fidelity does it. I don't know how Vanguard does it. But when I was at USAA, one of the friggin' dinglings on management wanted to he wanted to get rid of our date of death valuations that we sent to CPAs and attorneys. I said, you are a freaking moron, man. And so basically what would happen is you'd have these people paying USAA fees to manage their money. And at the death of the account owner, well, the estate needs to get a DOD, a date of death valuation, so they can see what the step up basis would be. And we had some, like I said, Dingleberry, who said, oh, we're not going to do that anymore because it's a service that we don't offer. I said, you're a freaking idiot, dude. We used to offer this. On top of that, we should offer it because it's needed. On top of these people are paying us to be their wealth manager. Not to offer this basic and just inherent service is nuts. But I can't remember. He said we're spending too much time. I forgot what it was. I said, well, that's not the client's fault. That's your fault that your inefficiencies are so bad. A date of death valuation, again, is critical. So if you are paying somebody, and I literally have no idea how other firms do it. But if you're paying somebody to manage your money, you probably need to call and say, do you offer date of death valuations for free? For the love of me, I couldn't understand why this wouldn't be just, I just don't get it. It's nuts. I mean, it's not hard to do. I mean, you can look at what they typically do is they'll use the mid price of the day. So if the stock was trading at 50, between 50 and 55, they'll give you a date of death valuation at 52.50. Look, man, don't make a mountain out of molehill here. Just say, look, the stock closed at 55, that's going to be my date of death valuation. Or the stock closed at 52, that's going to be my date of death valuation. If the IRS audits you, which they probably won't, but if they did, they say, the mid price was 52.50, you should have done a different date of death valuation. Look, it's not, you're not being like trying to sneak over anybody. You're just trying to make it simple. But the point was you need something, from your brokerage firm to say this, you don't need it, but it's nice to have that to validate why you're using as a date of death valuation. And I couldn't, that's the whole thing about the whole industry. I'm like, you are charging all this money until you're needed to do something. And then you just want to back off. Remember Homer going back in the woods? And that's what I was like, this is crazy. So that's the beginning of my distaste for the industry, because like, what the hell? They're paying the money. You're gladly taking the money when they don't need anything, when they need something. And on top of that, we get hammered. Say, we're here for multi-generational wealth planning. Well, the first way you want to get the beneficiaries of mom's account is to provide good service so they can go to the accountant and the attorney to settle the estate. And to say, hey, Mrs. Smith, or freaking Michelle Smith, I'm sorry your mom died, but we can't help you with date of death valuations. But come to us for your wealth management. That's nuts. Kiss my butt. I'm leaning towards not investing much more in them. Yeah, man. Hey, Buckhead, right on. Buckhead in the house, Jade. All right. Did you all get snow down there? My daughter at Georgia Tech said she got mostly sleet. It's very bad to have an MLP and an IRA. I don't know why that would be. All right. Let's see here. I don't know why it'd be bad to have a MLP and an IRA. Complicated laws, man. Okay. You have to have Susie says at Schwab, you have to have a boatload of money for the $365 a year. I don't get that. So why would you? That doesn't make sense to me. It seemed to be the opposite. You sure about? Hey, what's a boatload of money? You sure? That doesn't make any sense to me at all. Why would I would think Schwab would be going? Hey, don't take this wrong, folks. Down market in order to get people on their platform. And I don't know. That doesn't make sense to me. So confirm that. I'm not saying I doubt you, Susie D. I know. I'm just saying confirm that if you would, because that seems to defeat the purpose. Yeah, Fidelity tells you Wellington's closed to new investors, not at Vanguard. At Vanguard, it is open to investors. You just have to do it at the Vanguard platform, which sucks. No other way around that. All right. An article at Seeking Alpha about why you shouldn't have an MLP in an IRA. You can invest in ETF or a closed-end fund that invests in MLPs. That will avoid the K1. Good point, Jerry. Man, there you go. I like it. DC Defenders fan, says Matthew Simmons. My brother and his 3 sons were there yesterday, Matthew, and they were loving the game, man. It was a good time. My oldest son, had a Seattle Dragons shirt. Liam got his DC Defenders, and I got my Houston Roughnecks. And my sister lives in Houston, so I might have to go travel to see a game down there one time. That's what I was thinking about. Turns out Houston no longer has a minor league hockey team. Who knew that? Hello, Mary Beth. I just answered your email. 2002 season. All right, OSU, University of Miami. Yep. North Phoenix is Kevin. Right on, man. My old stomping grounds, North Phoenix. Yes, indeed. For about 3 years. Do you like bonds? As some don't like it. I'm not a fan of bonds. I'm not. I don't see any benefit of bonds at all. Someone asked me this today. Mary on my, she had asked me on the comments. She was, well, what is it? Ginnie Mae or CDs or cash for the first bucket? If I can find it. I'm kind of moving everything around here. So basically, Mary was saying, all right, so you got the barbell approach here, and I lied to you. I thought I was gonna be able to do 3 videos today. I only did 1 on the whiteboard. What happened? Where'd the time go? We had tennis to watch. What else did we have to do today? And we had stuff to do. I can't remember. All right, so you got the barbell, or you can look at the eyeglasses. Oh, that's pretty cool. It could be eyeglasses. I like the barbell. And so what would happen is you'd have your stocks and you have your cash or CDs on this side. So basically you're saying, okay, there's my stocks and there's my cash or CDs. The only time I like the bonds would be the Vanguard Ginnie Mae fund. And the only reason I like that is because I'm biased towards it because, I'm telling you, when I worked at Vanguard in 98, the Ginnie Mae fund was paying 6 1/4. And I just remember thinking, if I had $1 million, I'd invest it all in Ginnie Mae, live off $62,500 a year, and I'd be freaking sitting pretty. It doesn't pay that anymore. It pays about 2.5 roughly, but it's still such a wonderful investment because the bonds are 100% guaranteed. It's completely liquid. You're not locking up your money like a CD, and the bonds are guaranteed by the feds. They're government guaranteed bonds. And so because that, you're basically kind of getting you're taking on a little bit more short-term risk than CDs, because CDs at a bank, there's no downside. Now, brokered CDs have a downside. Brokered CDs are CDs you can get at an investment firm. I'm just going to take my hat off. Like Schwab. Sorry about my hair. My widow's peak. Did you know if you have a widow's peak, that means you won't go bald? I didn't know that, but I don't know that to be true. But anyway, so sorry about my hairstyle. It's all jacked up. Oh, man. This is how we comb it. This is why we like it short, so we can comb it with our fingers. And it's even worse. All right, well, I'm just going to leave it like that. I'm already married, so it doesn't matter. My wife doesn't care. Trust me, she does. I say that. Oh, anyway, a lot of inside jokes there that you guys would not be privy to. Let's just put it that way. Anyway, what was I saying? I was saying something about this right here. All right, so we got the CD. So the Ginnie Mae. So the Ginnie Mae. It's brokered CDs. So you can go to Schwab and you can get them to buy a bunch of CDs or Fidelity or Vanguard, any of these places. and they're brokered CDs. That means banks pay to be on the Schwab platform. Does that make sense? So they're saying, hey, we want you to offer our CDs to your investing public. And so you can go to Schwab and buy a bunch of brokered CDs from, the Bank of Ohio, the Bank of Nebraska, the friggin' Bank of Houston, whatever it is. You know what I'm saying? They're all FDIC insured. But when a brokered CD is, it has a market, it trades. So there is a volatility to some degree, a price fluctuation, unlike when you go to your local bank and they give you, in the old days, we'd literally issue you a certificate. Here's your certificate of deposit. It's literally what that meant. We're giving you a certificate to validate your deposit. That's what a CD is, a certificate of deposit. And it's a note, right? So basically what the broker CDs, you don't get that certificate of deposit anymore. It's a security essentially. And you can sell the CD well before maturity. You don't have any penalty whatsoever, but if you're going to sell it before maturity, most likely you're going to sell it at a discount relative to par value. It's just like a bond. So a brokered CD at the brokerage firm, that's what it is. A brokerage offers CDs. They work just like a bond. There's a maturity date, but you can sell the CD before maturity, but what you're going to get is whatever someone's willing to pay you for it. There's no other way around that. So it's nice because you're not tied up per se like you are in a 3 or 5 year CD at the local bank. But you certainly have some issues in terms of you're going to sell it 2 years before maturity. I mean, there's still a surrender charge ultimately to somebody, so they're going to pay you less for it. Hope that makes sense. But anyway, with Ginnie Mae has a little bit of volatility, not much. I mean, it goes up and down a tad, not much. But theoretically, you could pay $10 a share for it today. It could be worth $9.96 tomorrow. I mean, that's just a fact. So you go down 4 cents on the dollar, or I guess that'd be 4 cents on the $10. Not much, but you're still down. Whereas a CD, at the bank, it's just flat. Hope that makes sense. So I like the Ginnie Mae just because it gives you a little bit better of a return. 100% guaranteed. The bonds, you're not going to worry about bonds go bankrupt, and it's liquid. There's literally no, you're not tying up your money. So, all right. No, and why I don't like, long-winded about why I don't like bonds. Well, simple facts are because bonds, they don't give you any bang for the buck. I mean, you're literally, and this is what I tell everybody, and I will say this till I'm blue in the face, but you got a $1,000 bond, it matures at $1,000. And again, for some reason in the bond market, we cut that last zero off. I don't know why, but they always say it's $100. Some bonds are at 10,000, some bonds are 50. It just depends. But anyway, so you have a $1,000 bond, it matures at $1,000. That's just literally how it happens, unless it goes kaput and then it matures at zero. And that's how a bond works. And so what are you getting? Well, you're getting whatever the yield is. I'm just saying 3%. Well, you're not getting any more. You're just not getting any more. You certainly could be getting less if the bond goes bankrupt, but it's literally, you can look at all the data. There's basically a 95% probability of getting within that 3%. Some bonds go a little bit less because they go bankrupt. So it's just not worth it after factoring taxes and inflation, not to lock up your money for 10 years. Right now the 10-year treasury, it seems like I talk about this a lot, so if it bores you, sorry guys, but I think it's important. The 10-year treasury right now is paying 1.578, man. That's the 10-year. The TNX, 1.578. Freaking nuts. So you're literally getting there 1.578. And right now we're looking at 1.5% inflation. Again, inflation is backwards looking. Current yield on the bond is forward looking. So they're not quite the same, but it's pretty, at the end of the day, what you have to say, what do you think we're going to have inflation? Well, I'll just say 1.5. So if you have 1.5 on inflation and you got 1.5 10-year treasury, you literally are making nothing in a real return. Sad thing is you still got to pay taxes on that 1.5, and it's ordinary income. So if you're in a 20% tax bracket, I know there isn't any, but just for simplicity, we take our 1.5, we subtract out 20% because of taxes, you're down to 1.2, and inflation is 1.5. You're losing money. Bonds are a guaranteed way to lose money. No other way around that. All right. What Vanguard fund would I recommend if I open a new Vanguard account to is Wellington a good choice? Yeah, I think only 56. I mean, and I know your situation, so I would do the S. I just like the index, SP 500. Done. That's what I would do. So moving on. Sorry for the simplicity, but just SP 500. Be done with it. Subscribe for about a year. Thanks. I will bill you, Contractor J. Chester County, PA, home of Vanguard. Right on. Remember the Philadelphia Union played down there, if I'm not mistaken. That nice little stadium right off the Delaware, if memory serves. And I forgot the name of that town down there. I forgot. It was a good time. 401k has 7 options. Should I be in BSPAX or V? I don't know what those are, Don. VEIRX sounds like a Vanguard fund, but I don't know what the other one is, so I just don't know. Would you suggest a 33-year-old who makes only 50K a year and invest? Oh, what would you say? You can, I mean, 33 years old making only 50K a year, that ain't so bad, Josh. No. When I was 33, that'd be 2003. I was making 38,000. Obviously inflation, so you're making what I was making essentially, when I was your age. Yeah, if you can afford $500 a month, again, S&P 500, man, make that sucker, make it shine. Throw that money in there and be done with it, in my opinion. I mean, it's just an index fund, nothing fancy. You're not gonna be able to tell your friends, look, I did better stock picking than you. Who cares? You don't want to be doing that anyway. You always got to make sure you got enough cash on side too. I cannot stress this enough. I mean, the last thing we want you to do is have a bunch of investments in S&P 500. Market falls 30%. Now you got to take on debt in order to put a new roof on. I mean, just there is something about having a side account for which you can draw on, so you don't take on debt. Debt is the enemy, man. It's literally, someone should write a book with a chapter that says debt is the enemy, and I have it back there. That book right there. Strategic Money Planning. Such a bad title. Why did I type? No one knows what strategic money planning means. If you're ever going to write a book or do a YouTube channel or do a blog post, at least say what the hell you're going to talk about in the title. Strategic money planning. It says a strategic money planning, but doesn't. You can retire on Social Security. That tells you what we're talking about. The tax bomb in your retirement account and how the Roth can help you avoid it. That tells you what we're talking about, that you have a tax bomb in your retirement account, and the solution is the Roth. You can retire on Social Security. You can? No way, man. Everyone says you can. You can. Well, I better read this book, because that would tell me that I can retire. What's this crazy man talking about? You read the book like, I can breathe easy and retire on Social Security. And then not only did you buy my book for whatever I charge for it, but then on top of that, you might say, this guy seems to know what he's talking about. Let me buy his course for $500. Yes, $500 retirement planning course with a 30-day money back guarantee. So just remember, if you're interested in that, it's heavy on estate planning, Social Security, and expenses, reverse mortgages, taxes. Heavy. Not heavy on investments in terms of specifics. We don't get into that at all, because I don't know your circumstance situation. It'd be silly for me to even presume. But we talk everything, in my opinion. When people come want to chat, I say, what's your expenses? I have $400,000. Can I retire? I have no clue. What's your expenses? And that's why I tell people, well, I need to start doing this better. I get a lot of people reaching out wanting to chat in advance of hiring me. And this sounds cocky. I just don't have the time. I probably get 3 emails a day on that, actually. I simply just don't have the time to do that, to chat with people before we engage. I just don't. And I know that sounds cocky, but so the issue, what I would like to tell people to do, and I will start doing this, is maybe just buy the course. It's $500, man. If you want more specifics, then we can certainly do the full-fledged financial plan. The course is not a bad way to go. It's not. Now, again, it's not heavy, no Roth conversions, no investments. We do talk Social Security quite a bit, but that would be an alternative to, I don't know. I think it's money well spent. Obviously, if I didn't think it was money well spent, I wouldn't price it that way. But I don't know. I just I get a lot of those emails. I don't I don't get all that concerned because people can spend the money wherever they want. But you know, if people need to have that feeling of you know, an agreement before we engage, that's not going to happen. So one way you could do it, I mean, hell, you can just go on the website for the course. I'll put a link in the show notes, and you can get 3 free videos, or 4 actually. That's like 30, almost 40 minutes of free stuff right there. Anyway, didn't mean to make that sales pitch, but there you go. How is the early withdrawal of contributions to a Roth handled? Do you sell the oldest stock? Okay, early withdrawal of Roth contributions. Do you sell the oldest stock up to your cost basis, and it's strictly the, or is this, yeah, strictly the dollar amount? Absolutely. It's just, Jared, just a dollar amount. You put $5,000 in there, it's worth $7,000. You know, you have access to that $5,000 without taxes or penalty. The 2,000 you got to leave be in terms of specifically identifying what shares are the two. You don't need to do all that. Just got to keep $2,000 in there. Moon, regarding reinvesting dividends in the stock end of the barbell, if it's looking like a down year, shouldn't divs not be invested because you're going to draw your expenses from there that year? All right, so regarding reinvesting dividends in the stock end of the barbell, okay, if it's looking like a down year, shouldn't dividends not be invested because you're going to draw your, no, I don't think so at all. It's all coming from the same bucket of money, and you want the dividends to be reinvested to buy more shares. I'd reinvest all the time. Chicago, a police officer, can I ask you a question here? Yes, sir. Absolutely. Or Ellie, yeah, yes, ma'am. Are you sure about, okay, it gets okay. My wife passed away, leaving me a Roth IRA that she had over 5 years. Can I use that Roth IRA to put my 401k and inherit the 5-year period? Man, I don't know that's a great question. I don't know. If anyone else has an answer to that, I just don't know. Can I use the Roth to put my Roth 401k to? Man, I don't know. That's a great question. We know death is an exception to the early penalty rule. We know that for a fact. Is death? I don't know. That's a great question, Am Gold. I would have to think about that. Vinyl Earthling says don't do that, but do we have a reason why? I don't. Oops. All right, hold on a sec. So why does Vinyl Earthling say don't do? I don't get it. Don't do that. All right. I'd want to see the ruling from the IRA. I just don't know. But you're saying don't do that and multiple exclamation points. How come? All right. So yeah. So if your wife's maybe spouse or exemptions, yeah, okay. Yeah, I don't know, man. That's if anyone has an answer, that's a great question. So again, I'll throw it out to you guys. Wife dies, has had the Roth open for more than 5 years. All right, and then can he then roll his Roth 401k into the inherited Roth and avoid the 5-year time frame for qualified distributions? Hold on, Pablo wants to. There you go. Want to go out there? Okay. Good point. All right. Yeah, that's a great question, man. 131 live chat, only 2 thumbs up. No, man, it's got to be more than 2 thumbs up. What? Oh, there you go. 40. Phew, I was gonna say, man, really making people mad. Bernie says, I'm helping my parents with retirement rollover this month. I advised her Vanguard Wellesley fund. Okay, they have 500k. Only need approximately $1,000 per month. Well, let's take our trusty calculator. Link in the show notes. I crap myself. That's 2.4% distribution. That'd be fine. I don't know how old they are, Bernie Sanders. Just joking, man. Just joking. I don't know how old they are. Wellesley is, 35% stocks, 65% bonds. My preference would be Wellington. I have literally no idea their circumstance. So any regular who's watching this, I'd not give them advice. I just don't know. But if they're only taking 2.4% out, I'm very comfortable with a Wellington as long as they can handle a little bit more volatility. It's a mirror image of the Wellesley. It's tough to go wrong for sure. SK Gar, 62 years old, already retired. What's your opinion to pay forward and slowly? All right, yeah, right on. Okay. So SK Gar is 62. He or she is already retired and is thinking slowly moving IRA money to Roth to help set up my heirs. I love it. If you're married. I'm not so sure I love it if you're single. I actually get this question a lot about single folks. It's hard, man, to justify, in my opinion, pulling money forward to pay tax on if you're already in a single tax bracket, if that makes sense. I mean, the whole point about the whole reason I started this, what I'm doing here is the widow's tax trap. And the widow's tax trap is saying I'm married, filing jointly. I've been told by everybody and their mom to defer. And then my wife dies, my husband dies. Now I'm a single taxpayer and I get hammered. My income goes down, my taxes go up. That's literally the widow's tax trap. And then on top of that, with the new stupid Secure Act, SK, if you're pulling money forward and it's putting you in instead of a 12% tax bracket, but a 22% tax bracket, all right, whereas your heirs could have inherited it and they're married filing jointly at a 12% tax bracket as opposed to a 22% tax bracket, I don't see the benefit of you paying 22% where your heirs could have paid 12. On top of that, don't forget the Secure Act, they got to take the whole thing out in 10 years. So that leaves hey buddy, oh come on, everyone wants to say Pablo, come on, uppy, come on, bubs. So that definitely leaves a lot of consideration there. Now, if you're married, all right, here we go. Oh yeah, there he is, star of the show. My name is Pablo. I live on the second floor. He loved the snow. This guy did. He love the snow. At first, he didn't like it so much. Then he got used to it, and he loved it. We love him. Yes, indeed. Oh, all right. Let me close this. And even though he is spoiled rotten, let me tell you, I made some beef jerky for him the other day, and he was chowing on that every time he'd go potty outside. I give him some beef jerky. Now he's come to expect it. Big old nugget. All right, here's Eli or Ellie. Okay, I can get a pension in 6 years that totals $3,500 a month. That's if I stay with them. Should I stay or should I leave? Wow. What do you think, Pablo? Pablo whisper. All right, so the first thing that jumps out at me, where's the healthcare coming from? Is always the first thing, which I hate to say it, but it's true. I mean, if you're going on no healthcare, you're going to be paying pretty significant, income for healthcare because you're making that kind of scratch from your rentals. All right, so if you're on the police union, union healthcare, and you're leaving that behind, that could be a big deal. That's for sure. And you also don't say what your pension would be if you leave now. Would you not get any pension? $3,500 a month, man. That's pretty stellar. I mean, if that's going from $3,500 a month to no pension, I know you're in Chicago, so there's obviously there's a risk to your life. I mean, nothing is worth the risk to your life. But from a pure financial perspective, not knowing everything you got going on, if you get a portion of the pension, healthcare, then again, you got $60,000 a year coming in from your rental and your house is paid off. I just don't know, man. That's a tough one, Eli. That's a tough one, Ellie. All right, UBTI, Universal. What the hell is that? Universal Basic. I don't even know what that stands. It rings a bell. Snowed in Buckhead. Didn't stick though. Rained a bit after the snow. Oh yeah, just real quick. It's funny because yesterday my wife and I were coming back from Dunkin' Donuts to share a coffee and a donut. Don't tell the kids. Actually, we got them kids. And some kid was driving, young kid actually. When I say young, I say 18, 19, something like that. He was driving on the other side of the street. And black ice got him. He slipped and almost went head first into this fire plug. Whoo, that was bad. Fire hydrant. He did go head first into a light pole. And then the guy in front of me was spinning out. He swerved all over the place and he stalled. So because I'm from Maine, you know what you do in Maine when people are stalled in the road? You get out and help them push. That's what you do. No one else is doing that. I said, come on, people, you get out and help people push. I was able to push them off the side of the road. Got back in my car, Speedy, my 2012 or 13 Toyota Highlander. Locked the hubs. You don't really do that anymore. And we just got out there nice and easy, but it just is ice, dude. The ice is bad. So it happened right here in Atlanta. We're in North Fulton County, man. And I went to the kid, said, "You all right?" And he talked to his mom. He was fine, but it's like, oosh, it happens, dudes. All right. Unrelated business taxable income. There you go. Right on. Unrelated business taxable income, UBTI. MLP questions because UBTI, the distributions can cause some distributions to be taxable, even in IRA. Wow. Ugh. See, man, I'm just a caveman. I'd like to keep it simple. I don't want any of that crap. Just give me the S&P 500, be done with it. But how do I calculate tenants leaving or fixing units to rerun? Man, brother, I don't know. How do I calculate tenants leaving or fixing units up to re-rent it? Well, you already got 3 units being rented. You don't. I would think you'd know how to do that because you already got 3 units being rented. So I don't know, man. All right. So Robert says I have an MM account, money market account, and paid MM account. What the hell? And pay 22% on interest. I want to set up a stock portfolio to get qualified dividends taxed at lower rate. Oh, 22% of taxes. Okay, guys. Yeah. So you're in a 22% tax bracket. I got you. How do I choose a bucket of stocks with low volatility? There's no, people always think we got safer stocks. And so who's I watching? A guy I like too. He's like, these are safer stocks. There's no such thing as a safer stock. That's silly. I guess you look at utilities, Robert, but utilities will pay out a dividend. Theoretically, low volatility. Are they safer? I don't think so. And you're not getting much growth either. I mean, literally, it's a public utility. I mean, it's literally public, which means it's not just that you're sacrificing growth for dividend. I don't think that's worth it at all. I mean, for me, if I'm just, the best thing you could probably do to get a portfolio of dividends would be the value fund, like what I own, VTV. I'm not saying you should buy it. In fact, I'm saying no one buy it. Let me be the only one who owns it. VTV, the Vanguard large cap value ETF. All right, so it's the Vanguard large cap value ETF index, and if you get it pays, I can't remember what it pays. It was paying about 2.25 or 2 3/4 a few months ago. It's probably 2.5 now, as the price has gone up. PE ratio is 14, 15. So again, a value stock generally has lower price to earnings ratios, lower price to books ratios, and lower PE. I would say PE, lower and higher dividend yields. Excuse me. So higher dividend yields because the prices are lower. That's what makes it value. Just because it's value doesn't mean it's risky, less risky. In fact, if anything, it's the other way. So a value stock, the reason it's value because the price has fallen off a little bit. That's why the dividend yield is higher. So VTV, lower price to book, lower price to earnings, higher dividend yield. All that is because the prices have gotten knocked down a little bit. For some reason, that's value. The brokerage CDs don't have the highest rates. I think it just depends. I generally agree with that, but I wouldn't just throw them out with a baby with the bathwater. You have to do that. You have to look around for that for sure. Go to the website Seeking Alpha and read. You'll eventually see that certain stocks keep showing up in everyone's portfolio, like Apple, Verizon, JP Morgan. 100% right. Got a brokerage CD for 2.5. We're up 2.45. Says Fear, my man from Stanton, who likes the Terrapins. I noticed, Fear, that the ACC, there's not one team in that. There's the projected top 8. Did I see that right? In the ACC, the dominant players in basketball in the 80s. What the hell? Freaking North Carolina, Georgia Tech, Duke, Maryland, NC State. And I'm sure I'm missing somebody. Virginia, Ralph Sampson. I was like, what? The ACC? I couldn't believe it. Ugh. Yeah, 3,500 a month isn't too shabby, but it sounds like he lives in Chicago. So I think 3,500 bucks might get you a pack of smokes in Chicago. All right. Yeah, exactly. Tom, right on, Tom. Tom says if you want low volatility stocks may not be right for. I could not agree with that more. How about you? Okay, right on, Rich. So we got, I think, Rich, you asked this on my question too about whole life. All right. So, and I answered that just not too long ago. But Rich says, how about using my whole life policy as my cash bucket? We have $400,000 cash value, 401k at 55 to 70. 401k start at 55 to 70. Okay. Now, are you saying you're going to defer Social Security until then? Sounds like it. Wife gets a pension. We both. Okay, there you go. Now you're saying whole life. I'm hoping is truly a whole life policy. Absolutely. That's yeah. That's tough to beat. If it's truly a whole life policy, not a UL with 400,000 bucks in cash, that's a good place to be, man. Yeah, I absolutely agree. I'd use that as my cash bucket for sure, without question. Trod says, I don't have any international funds, all USA. Me too, man. USA in your face. Texas country living. The 10-year bond is merely insurance against the risk of having money elsewhere. Ask China. The 10-year bond is merely insurance against the risk of having money. 10-year bond is merely, I don't get, is merely insurance against the risk. So not to put money in any place else. I'm not saying I disagree. I'm confused. Here's Casey. How should you cover the tax bill for Roth conversions? Take them from 401k or take them from a taxable account? Ideally, be from a taxable account, Casey. My man, I haven't seen him around much lately. He's sniffing my ear. Actually, it's funny. I was eating a sardine today. Pablo, for some reason, I must have like wiped my hand on my eye or something like that. And he was like sniffing on my eye, like he was sniffing crack cocaine. He's like, yeah, he was right. Yeah, he's like, yeah, he's doing it again. What's this? What's this? I love you, buddy. You're such a good man. Hey, Bobby, want to wear the hat? Oh yeah. Oops. Yeah, he likes that. Okay. All right. So Casey, my man Mike did a spreadsheet that he showed taking taxes from the 401k is still better than not doing a Roth conversion. So if you have taxable accounts, yeah, take it from taxable accounts. If you have no taxable accounts and you still want to do Roth conversions, he showed you in the spreadsheet that I don't have anymore, but he actually adamantly stated, look, you're still better off by doing the Roth conversions, even if you pay the taxes out of the 401k. So I hope that helps. Lincoln Stable Value Fund at 3% is a smoking deal, Jack. Yep, I would have no, Chester, Delaware County. That's what it was, Delaware County, right on where the Philadelphia Union were. I'd have no qualm with that, Jack. Stable Value Fund at 3%. All right. My man Martin says, I've got about a 1/17 of my portfolio in a managed high yield income bond fund, paying a steady 11% at NAV. Okay. Yep. That's look, man, you got to do what you got to do. Nothing is going to pay a steady 11% at NAV. There's something inherently flawed there for sure. Either it's paying out principal or it's taking on some serious leverage. There's just a way. I mean, it's fine. I'm not saying don't have investments in it, but I hope people aren't looking at like what was I doing the other day? I did a video on, said a 6.4% dividend yield. I was like, oh. I guarantee people are buying the 6.4% dividend yield and with no clue how that's what's going on there. Anyway, my man Martin, I would just want to know what they're investing in, because ain't no one paying 11% unless it's they're taking on cash, the leverage, or they're paying out principal. That's all there is to it. Paying off mortgage, you get 70.5 for S. Yeah. Yeah, there you go. Paying off mortgage and getting Social Security benefits at 7.5. Going to Wellesley and Wellington with IRA. Man, I got no problem with that, man. My man Fred D. Francesco, right on, just subscribed today. All right, I'll send you a bill. Appreciate your approach. No debt, no mortgage. 1 year away from retirement. Stowing as much in cash as I can right now. Thank you for your approach. Right on. I actually think that's a great move. Anyone is a year to two out from retirement, I actually think, I would be putting all my money, if my employer's matching, I'd be stowing that away into cash like a crazy man. So you get, I erased the barbell approach. So you get the barbell of cash built up. I mean, I'm telling you, the last thing you want to do is retire in a 2000, 2001, or 2002 where the market kills you. You just don't want to do that. And now it might happen regardless, but if it can happen when you have money sitting in cash, oh, how much better it would make your life. My ears smell good, buddy. Keep sniffing my ear. What's up? So I think that's a good move. All right. Josh, yeah, you got it. Oops. Maryland is in the Big Ten? What? Maryland is in the Big Ten, man. That's freaking crazy. I did not. I bet they chat me up at parties catching for free financial advice. Yeah, I don't go to parties. A lot of YouTubers are introverts. I am actually an introvert. Believe it or not, people say, "Oh, you're on." Look, man, I just like I like my space, my surroundings. I like my pup here. I like my wife, my kids. Putting some. I did some chicken drumsticks tonight on the grill. It's just a pretty good life right there. Take the dog for a walk. Pick up some poops that he drops. It's pretty simple, man. We don't do a whole lot. We'll go to a hockey game on occasion. Go see Georgia Tech football. We didn't go see the Falcons this year, but other than that, I just like to chill at my house. Now, what I do is I actually ask most of the questions. I'm always interested in what other people, like, how do people get where they're at? That's all. I've always found that interesting to me, because the stories that people have are fascinating to me. You learn so much stuff just by asking questions. It's interesting, actually. Mary says, thanks for answering her email. You got it. I wanted to convert 224 to 401k to a Roth since I'm worried about RMDs. Again, being single, Mary, I just don't know, man. I don't know if it's the way to go. Again, it's tough for single people. You just got to start with a premise that can this work, and be okay if it can't. That's for sure. And my man Jimmy says it's a great course. It gives you all the info you need to set up a good retirement. Thanks, Jimmy. Much obliged. And I'll send you the check later for saying that. There's my co-star right there. Roth IRA versus Roth 401k. Which would you do? I'd do the Roth IRA for sure. But if you're doing the 401k through and your company gets a match, I'd do the Roth 401k. If the company doesn't get a match, I wouldn't sweat it. I just do the Roth IRA, unless you could put more money into the Roth 401k than what is allowed by law with a Roth IRA. And that is confusing to grab. But just remember, the Roth IRA, you got limits, $7,000, something like that. And the Roth 401k, was it like 24,000 if you can afford that. So if you have that kind of scratch, and it obviously depends on your income tax bracket, but if you have that kind of money, the Roth 401k is definitely more advisable. But it really depends on your tax bracket too. Let's not forget that. Where you going, buddy? Okay. Try and go out again. All right. So our wall. It's been 10 days of living the retirement lifestyle. It's been busy getting things moved around. Keep up the good. Right on, man. The widows also get hit with IRMA big time. The 22% tax bracket isn't too bad. Well, if you're used to the 12 or 10%, it is, but the 37% one is a bear for sure. I think, especially I think you're in Connecticut as well. Yeah, the Bruins been on a streak though, Terry. So they've been on a nice run. I'm glad to see that. But they've been on. They were at the beginning of the turn of the year. They were down. They were like, I think they took 3 to 4 straight losses. I was like, it's gonna be like I think the Canadians last year when it were on a tear, or maybe it was the Maple Leafs. But then they pulled their head out and they came back strong. It's good. RMD is the benefit for singles converting if the account is large. RMD is the benefit. I don't understand that, Ralph. If I was carried and held all the time, I'd be spoiled. Yeah, I agree. Retirees with incomes over 500,000 really have to pay big tax. Yeah. Pablo's a beef jerky entitled with Angelo. Years ago, when I started putting money into my 401k, I'd assumed post-tax contributions were going into a Roth 401k, but it turns out all the earnings are money on be tax. Okay. Years ago, when I put money into my 401k, I assumed post-tax contributions were going to the Roth 401k, but it turns out all the earnings on that. So yeah, I got you. So your contributions are back, return of principal, tax-free, but the growth on that was just deferred. Yeah, that sucks, man. Yeah. All right, so my man Jack said he just looked at the question regarding the inherited Roth and the 5-year look back. You are fine as long as so this is for somebody, I can't remember, but you're fine as long as the 5th year was achieved prior to inheriting. Well, that's fantastic. All right, so that means if you inherit a Roth IRA and from your wife, and she's already had the 5 years behind her, and you roll your Roth 401k into it, you will get your 5 years have basically been satisfied to have qualified distributions tax-free. That's good. All right, thanks, Jack. All right. 1 million invested wisely will provide a nice interest to live off. Shouldn't even have to touch the principal. I don't know, man. All right. I have Saurav Gupta. I have only taxable in Roth, IRA, and 401k accounts, but it makes sense to have dividends, income in a taxable account. No. Do not have dividends in a taxable account. No, don't do that. No other taxable income in retirement in 20 years. No other taxable income in retirement in 20 years. No, I still don't do, man, now if you got, I'm confused. No other tax, so you just have enough dividend income to live on, and it's just putting you the 12% tax bracket and Social Security. I'm not following that. No, I don't like dividends in the taxable account. I like dividends in a Roth. 12% and Social Security. I mean, what's going to happen is that what used to be a tax-free qualified dividend will be taxable once Social Security. All right, let me do this. I'm going to draw this. So I'm telling you right now, and I'm just going to pull a number out of my head. We're going to say you have $50,000. That might not be enough. We're going to say you have, I don't know, $80,000 of dividend income. And it really doesn't matter from where it comes. All right, so you have $80,000 of dividend income. That's your AGI. And if you're married, well, we know for a fact that none of that's going to be taxable, right? Because you're in a 12% tax bracket after you factor in your standard deduction. So you got $80,000 of dividend income. You take your standard deduction of, let's say, $25,000 between you and Mrs. Gupta, and you are at $55,000 of taxable income. So you're at $55,000 of taxable income. Because you're in the 12% tax bracket, the $80,000 of qualified dividend income won't be subject to taxation. Now watch what happens. We're going to say you have $30,000 of Social Security. All right, so now we got $80,000 plus $30,000 Social Security. All right, so we got these two things: $80,000 dividends, $30,000 Social Security. Now what we got to do, and I don't know if this is going to work because I just pulled out my head, but still, we take half that Social Security income and we add that to this. So we got $15,000 of Social Security that would pay, that is going to be subject to tax, subject to our provisional tax, plus this $80,000. So now we got $95,000 of what we're going to look at for our provisional income. All right, so now what we're doing is we're saying, okay, we got $95,000 of provisional income. I'm telling you, I can see this a mile away. 85% of that's $30,000 is going to be subject to taxation. So hang with me. So at $95,000, the first $44,000 is not subject. The first $32,000 not subject to any tax. All right, $32,000 not subject to any tax. The next $12,000 is subject to 50% of that is subject to tax. and then that'd be 95 minus 44, 51,000 is 85% is that subject to tax. Yeah, so we're going to be, this will make sense to Jesse. Oh, yeah. All right, so basically 85% of that 30,000 Social Security is subject to taxation in this situation because of your $80,000 of dividends. This won't make any sense. It's just my jibe, my scribing here. The first 32,000, if you're married, filing joint, you'll have your provisional income. It's not taxable. The next 12,000 from 32,000 to 44,000, 50% of that is subject to taxation for provisional income, not subject to taxation on your 1040, just to figure out how much of your Social Security is subject to tax. That's 6,000. Then 85% of the difference. So we got 95,000 minus 44. That's 51,000. 85% of that is subject to tax. So we know for a fact that 85% of your Social Security is going to be subject to tax. All right, so we take our trusted calculator. We take $30,000 times by 0.85. That's 25,500. So now we have total. Ooh, you're going to be pretty close. So now we have total. That's our AGI, 105.5. All right, so 105.5 minus, we're saying 25,000 standard deduction. Ooh, you're at $80,500, my friend. $80,500 of taxable income. And if memory serves, you are now in just barely the 22% tax bracket. Let's see here. This is 2019. Yeah, so you are now in the 22% tax bracket. Not a huge hit, but not only is your Social Security going to be subject to taxation, but some of those, not a huge amount of the dividends, but you now have to pay taxes on some of those dividends for which you're above the 12% tax bracket. Confusing. But I'm just telling you, we don't want that. We don't want dividends and Social Security combined, because they will, I guarantee, as they get bigger and bigger and bigger, you're going to have more and more taxes due, not only on your Social Security, but also on the dividends that previously were tax-free. We don't do that. We want dividends in your Roth. We want low dividend-paying stocks, low turnover stocks, stocks that can grow in your taxable account. I'm just telling you, man, from a tax perspective, that's what you want. If you want to pull the dividends from your Roth, more power to you. It's tax-free. It won't affect your Social Security. It won't affect your income. It won't affect anything. But I'm telling you, it's the tax torpedo, man. The tax torpedo of how Social Security taxed. It's nuts to me how many people still don't even know this now. Now, not you guys, well, I mean, but professionals. Like, oh yeah, we'll live off the dividends of Social Security. I'm like, man, you're making a huge mistake. Huge. And that same thing, by the way, goes with tax-exempt interest. People do this all the time. Well, I have tax-exempt interest and I'll take Social Security. That's the exact same scenario. Tax-exempt interest makes your Social Security subject to income taxation. There's just no two ways around this, man. It ticks me off. All right. Okay. Can't live on 40,000, 45,000 a year. Yeah, I agree. Josh, I appreciate your guidance on our call. One thing I neglect to ask you recommend 100% equities. Would you buy the Vanguard S&P? Yep, 100%. All right, Sean says, I have 230 grand as TSP, 52 single, no kids or family, no plans to marry. That's what makes no sense for Roth. I completely agree, Sean, 100%. Now, once you quit your crappy old job, you don't have any income at that point, you might want to say, I'm going to live off my TSP while allowing for my Social Security to grow. But to be honest with you, if you're single, it's not necessarily a bad thing to take Social Security early, because, be perfectly honest, you might not ever get any. I mean, that's the thing. You don't know. There's no one for you to leave it to. That sounds sad or whatever, but the facts are, if you're not married and you don't take Social Security and you get hit by that bus when you're 67, well, all the tax playing and deferring Social Security, it doesn't worth anything. Now, the converse of that is, if you live until you're a million years old, you're like, oh man, but what do I know about medical railroad admin plans? Is that what RRA is? How much cash I keep for medical expenses if I retire at 58? What are typical medical for health pre-Social Security income? I don't know. I'm presuming railroad is a railroad administration, I guess. But how much cash I keep for medical expenses depends on how how healthy you are, Gus. Generally speaking, it's about $1,000 a month for premiums. That's just a fact. Unless you're on ACA, like someone was on here on ACA, then it might be less. But depending on what you're. But presumably, if that's railroad, you have a pension. You're not going to be on ACA. So I would allocate $1,000 a month for premiums for sure. All right. I can live off $5K a month very comfortably with no mortgage, budgeting 25. Yeah, man. I still can't believe Maryland's in the Big Ten. I mean, geez. Ralph Sampson. I mean, just the whole Brian Doherty, the whole thing. I mean, from Virginia, North Carolina Tech, Mark Price. Ay. That's crazy, man. I'm getting old, man. All right, 60K on a million. Oh, 60K on a million. Yeah, man. 60K on a million, you'd be fine. That's a 6% distribution rate. Yeah, throw in Social Security, another 35,000, 30,000 bucks. You're good to go. If you have no debt, Margaret, that's right. Remember old Margaret? She came on board and we hammered you for being a Chiefs fan, Margaret. This is about halfway through the year. So congratulations. People in Kansas City going crazy or what? Oh, man. I ended up going for the Niners. Can't lie to you. I don't know why. I was just going for the Niners. I just had the Niners. I guess my big thing is, look, I like Pat Mahomes. I'm a fan of him. I like those guys from Texas Tech. The guys from Texas Tech always got, they always got a shot when other schools would overlook them because of size and whatnot. But I will say I don't want to hear one say Patrick Mahomes is the best quarterback ever. He's going to be like Clay Travis is saying he's going to have like 3 or 4 more Super Bowls. I'm like, I'm sitting there thinking maybe, but before we make this guy the next Tom Brady, let's get a couple more rings on them fingers. Now he is the youngest quarterback to ever win a Super Bowl. Let's just put it that way. So, but I don't know. I would highly suspect he's not going to get he's not going to get Tom Brady. Like, I just don't see it happening. And you got to factor that the Chiefs were dead. I do not know how Tyreek Hill got so open that play. I mean, it's 3rd and 15. I literally have no idea. How did the 49ers give up that ball? I mean, that was it. That was the game right there. Tyreek, 45 freaking yard. The dude's wide open. I think he's a number 1 receiver. Kelsey, but maybe this guy. I don't know how you give up that. And it looked like Mahomes threw a duck. It was so wide open. That ball just sitting there. I was like, I thought he was literally throwing up a punt. They say the interceptions gives a punt sometimes. That was the game. I was like, what happened? Nuts. Hey, crazy. No growth in investments was 20.6% last year. Oh man, I missed a bunch of stuff. Someone said my thing was wrong. I'm not sure what you're talking about, but OV 700, man. Wista, hey, right on. All right, well, I missed something here. All right, let's see. What do you think of JPST 2.69 divs? Laura, I don't know anything about it. Sorry. Yeah, you have to draw down capital if you're living off 60,000. You're on $1 million. Absolutely. Yep. Yep. All right. Let's see. My growth in investments was 20.6% last year. It's possible to go higher than 6. Okay. Yeah, the dog does love me. All right. 300 cash, 700 stock bucket. I completely agree with that, Moon. I think that's a great thing. I'm a great financial advisor, but Powell brings me over the top. And doesn't he know it? If you are invested wisely, then a 30% drop is a rarity. I don't know about that, my friend. Brooklyn, New York. My parents finally paid off their quadplex, $4.5 million when they died. That thing is mine. I'm going to sell it and buy a GTR. I'm not sure what a GTR is, Cody. What's a GTR? Okay. So Deke, it's been a while. Deke from Alexandria. In 2019, I'll allot in qualified dividends and long-term capital gain tax investments. Any suggestions on how I can lower my AGI Maggie? Yeah, giving money away, man. That's the only other way to do it. And what's 2019 is too late now anyway. So no, going forward, you're gonna have to avoid that. You just got to reallocate your money to put your qualified dividends, long-term capital gains, in Roth or IRAs for sure. I mean, that's what you want to do. You want your taxable accounts to be as limited in terms of QDI and as possible. I mean, that's what you want. So we don't want QDI. We don't want long-term capital gains. We don't want turnover in your taxable accounts. So again, because we do get new people here, the 3-bucket, not the 3-bucket approach to barbell, but you got tax-free, got your tax deferred, and you got your taxable. I mean, what we want is we want dividends in here, high turnover. So this will be your actively managed accounts if you're going to go that way. High dividends. Let me just write this down. So we got active dividend. All right. So we got active, high turnover, higher turnover dividends in this bucket, tax-free. Tax deferred would be where if you have any bonds, it's all going to be here. All right. We certainly don't want bonds in here and they're tax-free. And we certainly don't want bonds in taxable because you're going to have to pay ordinary income on the bonds. But they're tax-free. No, it defeats the purpose. We don't want tax-exempt bonds anywhere, nowhere. Tax-exempt bonds are not good. If we're going to have bonds, we want them in our IRA or 401k. But it's not, I don't want to say it's not debatable. I don't want to sound like a climate alarmist. It's not debatable. But at the end of the day, it doesn't make sense for the vast majority to have tax-exempt bonds. It just doesn't. So we want corporate and government bonds in here. Actively managed accounts, if you have some, high dividend payers here, high turnover. And then we want low turnover growth stocks in your taxable accounts. So for me, I got VBK. That's the Vanguard small cap growth ETF in this guy. I don't have a Roth. I have tax-free, which is I got VTV and VDIGX. VTV and VDIGX. So ideally, I would have nothing in this tax deferred and I'll be here, my Roth, but I waited too long to do any conversions. I made too much money last year, so I didn't want to get hammered even more. So in this case, I got VTV, VDIGX, both would be perfect in my Roth. VBK, Vanguard Small Cap Growth Fund, because this doesn't have any turnover and because there is hardly any dividends, it won't affect my 1099. So you got to do the same thing, Deke. You have too much in taxable accounts that's dividend and turnover oriented for sure. But the other way is to take losses off the table. I mean, there's not much now because we've had such a run for so many years. There aren't any losses, but there could be. But you take loss off the table to offset some gains. That's just going to offset your long-term capital gains, or just give the money away. There's really nothing else to do. Once you make it, there's not much you can do. Cody's asking, do I use a financial planner? Nah, I don't. I frankly don't see a whole lot of value in them. I mean, I am one, I get it. And this sounds like cocky, but I know what the hell I'm doing. And I just don't think most financial planners do. I don't know if most. Yeah, I really say, I don't think most financial planners do. I just don't. Most financial planners are investment jocks. Slowly but surely they're coming over to the side. They realize the industry is not going to, 10 years from now, there will be no asset under management fees. I'm just telling you, I mean, there will be, but it'll be almost like a legacy account for people who just done it and they don't know any other way. And you're starting to see people recognize they got to change because it doesn't make any sense to pay somebody to manage your money. It really does not. And unless you're taking a flyer, unless you think, look, this guy has a hedge fund strategy, which, you know, I think could work, or this guy has this kind of strategy. But to have some guy pick ETFs for you that you see twice a year for 1%, that's freaking silly, man. Don't do that. You're literally not getting any value. That's a value killer, not a value adder. It's not. There's no additional value there at all. It hurts. It hurts. It hurts. Don't do that. And it still ticks me off to this day. If you take a distribution from an IRA to pay your guy to come fix your engine on your car, all right, that is a taxable distribution. If you take a distribution from your IRA to pay your investment advisor, that is not a taxable distribution to you. It's not. It's taxable to the investment advisor's income, but it's not a taxable distribution for you to take an IRA distribution for which your investment advisor can pull the money from to pay his fee. But it is a taxable distribution for you to use your IRA to pay the mechanic to freaking put a new transmission in. How the hell is that? What the freaking hell's that? That's lobbying. That's the financial industry lobbies. So they have a huge incentive to charge you assets under management because it's completely a tax-free distribution to you. That's nuts. Why do these guys, and I'm telling you, I was reading an article today, which I'll share with you. I'm going to do this is part of my wealth tax. I'm telling you, I'm freaking hot to try on the wealth tax. So I'm going to show you this article right. Oh, it's on here. All right, hold on a second. I'm going to show you this article. This professor, 2 law professors on UCLA, looked at the wealth tax, and I am going to show it to you right here. Yes. So this is from UCLA, wealth tax design, lessons from estate tax avoidance. And I'm big on this now. I am big on a wealth tax, 100%. And I'm big on a wealth tax in order to bump up Social Security, without question. Without question. I think it's the right thing to do. I don't care about wealth inequality. That doesn't bother me. Oh, Jeff Bezos has more. It's not fair. I could care less about that. I do care about Social Security needs to get a big bump. And the only way to do that is to get people who've got the money to pay into it, without question. And I think a wealth tax is the way to go. And to do that, it's going to be one of those things that we're going to have to figure out ways to get it so people can't avoid that kind of stuff. And the easiest way is to get rid of charitable deductions, without question. Oh my goodness, you don't sound like a Republican. I don't care. If we got rid of because I'm just going to share. It's not. Well, let me just. I don't think I'm not going to be able to find it. But they show you that at death, wealthy people give like freaking at death. Like it's a huge amount more money at death than they do at life, because of charitable deduction. Charitable, when they give at death, it goes tax free to charity, and so that's how they avoid the estate. So they keep their huge estate, and then they give it all to charities. The crazy thing, these charities, how much is the guy from Red Cross living on? How much the guy from the what's that for the Boy Scouts? How much these guys getting paid? They're getting paid bank. So how many people, and then you got private foundations in here too, these guys do, who's run by their own kids. And you're sitting there thinking, wait a second, man. You know, that's avoiding taxes to give to these charitable entities that are basically for rich people for vanity. Like this guy says, to have a museum in your name. Now, screw all that. Now, they're never going to get rid of charitable deductions because the freaking financial industry is so heavy on lobbying. But, man, I tell you, I'll stop there. All right. So, anyway, I don't use a financial planner. A long-winded answer to your question. All right. We got Worcester, better late than never. If Josh asks Final Earth Link, I tell him I can't explain I got rich. All right, well, that means you might be doing something illegal. To each his own, man. As long as you're not hurting anybody else, I could care less. Don't care. 14 teams in the Big End. Jeez Louise. Yes, I am married. Dude. All my mentors said don't get married ever for. Yeah, Bruins are on. We just talked about that, Rob. Bruins are, I guess you posted that before, too late. Bruins looking good, but doesn't matter. Once Tom Brady retires, all Boston sports are going to be in the dungeon, just like Cincinnati. I trust you heard it here first. Yeah, dude, if I weren't married, I would be literally with a freaking, I'd probably, what would I be doing? I'd be like Tom Foley in a van down by the river. Remember him? Some of the youngsters might not. Let's just put it this way: if it was not for my wife, things would have got bad. And you don't. Here's the thing, Cody. If not that you're asking me, but I'll tell you, you cannot look at someone else to save you. I'm just telling you right now, you cannot look at someone else to make you happy. It's all gonna be internalized. So don't go in. I made this mistake way too many times with previous girlfriends. Like, I'm not happy with them. Well, you're not happy because you're not happy with yourself. That's what it was. If you're not happy with yourself, and you're relying on your girlfriend, wife, freaking, I don't know, dog to make you happy, it has to come in here. And once it comes in here, then you'll be happy. And that doesn't mean you'll always be happy. It doesn't mean my wife and I don't get in fights. We don't get in too many fights. When we do we don't get in too many fights. But they can get bad. And when I say bad, it's not like my parents. Hell, my parents are freaking insane. But that was back in the hippies, man, the old days. People would go crazy. Our fights are just, she'll give me the silent treatment for days on end. She doesn't do that anymore. She'll give me the silent treatment at night. And then, and I just wake up like, is she gonna talk to me? Thankfully she will. But you get older and you just relax, man. I've heard this from a bunch of people. As you get older, you just chill. It's true. I'm 49 and a half. It's just, I don't know. I just chill. A couple of things I do find, I wish it would happen in my lifetime. Actually, I do. We'll see. We'll see what happens. But all right, getting married. That's silly to say. Don't ever get married. That's just stupid. That's like saying, I don't know, freaking. That's just dumb. It's like saying, what? Don't ever root for the Buffalo Bills because that has nothing to do with you personally. I mean, who is your spouse? Who's your significant other? Who's your life partner? I mean, it has nothing to do with some other clown went through. Now, with that said, are there crazy divorces? Trust me, man. I know many people, men who got screwed, women who got screwed every which way to Sunday. Sucks. No getting around that. But for me, being married is the best thing that ever happened. I mean, 3 things for me is going to the Army, find my wife, and getting my relationship right with God. I mean, those 3 things, man. And trust me, I'm not perfect with my wife. She doesn't expect me to be perfect because she knows I'm a human being. She's not perfect to me. The Army's behind me. I did a lot of stupid stuff in the Army. I'll probably share with you some stories as we go forward here, not tonight. And then, of course, I'm never right with God because I'm a sinner, right? And God knows that. But the funny thing about God, you say, God, please forgive me. And Jesus was raised from the dead. I mean, that's, you acknowledge Jesus and you ask for forgiveness and all is good. The devil knew Jesus was God's son, right? We know that, right? What did the devil not do? He did not ask for forgiveness. So just by knowing that God is Jesus is the risen Son of God, that is not enough. You gotta have humility to ask for forgiveness. So anyway, the whole point about that is you don't look at anyone perfect. You don't look at anyone that's gonna make you happy. No one can make you happy but you. And then I would say get on your knees every morning and just try to shut the stuff out and just try to get right with the big guy, and you'll hear the Holy Spirit will talk to you in a way that's very, sometimes it's very clear. Sometimes like, man, God, I don't understand why I just can't spell this out. What am I supposed to do? And like, man, God, where are you? It's sad, man, because you're like, how come I'm not hearing anything on this time of need? I don't know what God does. I don't know. I just know that we'll all find out at one point. Can I prove it? No. Can the atheist prove? No. They can't prove that you sit in a grave and you just lay there and let the worms eat you. They can't prove that. I can't prove that you go up to a cloud with St. Peter at the gates. I can't prove that. They can't prove that. And it's okay. I just find it funny. I have a guy on this channel on occasion, and every time I post anything about God or Jesus, he's like, rah! I'm like, why do you care, man? It's the weirdest thing. Like if someone were to post on their channel about soccer, I don't care about soccer. It's like I think I'd rather watch paint dry, or I'd rather pick up Pablo's poop with just my bare hands. Soccer is just boring, and let's just admit it's boring. So if someone were to post something on soccer, I'm not going to sit there and because I could care less. So I'm sitting there talking about God. Why do you care? If you so were anti-God, why would you care? Because of theocracy. Like, okay. So what's the Who murdered more people in the 20th century? The theist or the atheist? I mean, come on, man. Jeez Louise. So you sit there, I'm against God and I'm worried about theocracy. Okay, well, you better go clean your own side of the highway there, because you've put a lot of people in early graves, a whole lot more than we did, that's for sure. So don't be all sitting there saying, I'm worried about theocracy and I'm pushing atheism. Nah, I ain't gonna fly with me. All right. Sundays rock with Josh and Pablo. Right on, man. All right. What are the best ways to avoid tax on rental income? Man, brother, I don't know. Get paid in cash. Jerry, get paid on cash. Exactly, man. Get paid in cash. Thoughts on rental incomes? I don't. For me, I'm too lazy. I don't want that late night call. I was talking to a couple the other day who had some turnkey rental income. Seemed to work real well for them. I don't. It bores me, frankly. I'm just too lazy. I'm not going to lie to you. For me, I just like stocks, dividends, S&P 500, cash, and beef. That's what I like, and it's all good. So I think rental income absolutely is a way to diversify a portfolio for sure. I just don't have the patience nor the desire, and certainly not the know-how. That's for sure. What example is wrong? It's a great idea if you're using cash. The Social Security income falls to the bottom. I don't get it. No, that's not true. No. Standard deductions do not come off Social Security. That's absolutely not. That's absolutely incorrect. Absolutely incorrect. Nope. I'm a growth-focused investor. Was hoping to get started on dividends, just filling the gap of 50K. Just want the Roth to keep growing. Yeah, man. We want the Roth to keep growing. Absolutely. How do you know when you go, Ron? I do live stream every Sunday at 19:30 or 7:30 p.m. Eastern time. Every Sunday I do a live stream, brother. Property values certainly can decrease. Absolutely. Always buy rentals with cash. Right on. Only decrease if you sell. Once you know. All right, Mike C says, once you know 85% of your Social Security income is going to be taxed no matter what, that it's still bad to have dividend income in a taxable account. Well, yes, because remember, you're still paying. I mean, just yes. Once you know that you have 85% of Social Security, that stinks. But now you still got to pay dividend income. All right, so you still got to pay taxes, Mike, on the dividends that you're receiving. And I'd rather you didn't do that. Now, don't forget, there's this thing called a step up in basis too. I do my. Oops. All right, we're gonna use this. So another thing. Now this is something secondary. All right, but here it is. So step up in basis. What happens if you have $100,000 in a growth stock fund in a taxable account, and it grows to $300,000 because you have no dividends, no capital gains? It just goes to $300,000 at your death. And if you're in a community property state, California, Texas, the Western states, this is transfer tax free. That's called a step up in basis. So that $200,000 right there, it transfers tax free to your heirs. And you would seek an attorney for this, but if it's set up correctly in the community property state, that transfers tax free to your spouse too at your death. Now, the problem with a dividend fund is that $100,000 is, if it's inside of a taxable account, is paying you income every year. It's paying you income every year. And what that's doing is making you pay tax on it, which is increasing your cost basis. So now you get $50,000 of dividends over the course of whatever that time of holding was. All right. So now your cost basis is 150 because you realized $50,000 of taxable dividends. Taxable dividends. But now the account's worth $300,000. Well, you've just sacrificed $50,000 of step-up basis because you had to pay taxes on the $50,000 of dividends. You don't want to do that. So the whole point about the Roth is you want the dividends in there because you can get access to them tax-free without getting any 1099. All right. On top of that, you can get access to the step-up in basis on the taxable account, which will grow essentially, as much as you possibly can get it to grow without any hardly 1099s, any capital gains, and at your death, it'll go to your surviving spouse in a community property state or your heirs in either common law or community property state with a step up in basis, which means they inherit it tax-free. The Roth, they'll inherit tax-free too. I'm telling you, I'll do another video on this tomorrow, or maybe tomorrow. But this is one of my big, I think, what's the word I'm looking for? Tutorials is how to, I do this in my course, by the way, how to allocate your investments. I cannot stress this enough. Yes, QDI is better than OI. Yes. However, no taxes are better than QDI, which is better than OI. Does that make sense? So QDI, qualified dividend income, is taxed always 100% more preferably than ordinary income. That's not debatable. That's just not. Ordinary income is the least of those two. So QDI is better than OI, ordinary income. No taxes are better than either. And so Roth is no tax. We want you to take advantage of dividends in the Roth. We want you to take advantage of unencumbered tax-free growth in your taxable bucket. And that's how that works. I'll do another video on that. I've done a couple in the past on that, but I think it's that important for people to understand. All right. Pay off debt. Yep. Silent treatment drove you crazy, but I'd be dead to let her know. I did let her know. Yeah, Chris Farley, man. I just said, please. So one time when we first moved to Phoenix, we drove from Alexandria, Virginia, to Phoenix, and I bought the weekly edition of the Washington Times of Phoenix from mailed to me, and we literally had no money. And I think I paid $79 for it. I said, okay. So I bought the weekly roundup of the Washington Times so I could keep track of, the right wing DC political talk. And it basically through Albuquerque all the way to Phoenix, she didn't say a word to me. None. She was so mad about that splurging. I remember we get out, we started looking at, Winslow, Arizona, and that song, Winslow, Arizona, whatever. There's something we were just looking around, and she didn't say a word. Coming down 17th through Flagstaff, not a word. I was like, oh my goodness. We finally get to the place we're going to rent. And I said, you got to say something. We got to go in there and sign for this place. And she goes, okay, but I'm done talking. That's what happens when you have 8 brothers and sisters. All right. She be quick to forgive and slow to anger. Man, that sounds very biblical. Exactly right. What's my advice to half my age is don't take on debt, brother. I'm telling you right now, debt. It'll make your life hell on wheels, dude. And I don't mean it in a good way. It's bad. If you want to get rich, start a nonprofit. Exactly. No, I completely agree with that. If you want to get rich, start a nonprofit. Bruce is here. What's up, Bruce? Yeah. Let's see. I think a wealth tax would backfire the stock market IRAs would go down more and hurt retirees. I don't think so. But is the Social Security estimated benefit statement we receive for today's dollars? Great question, Brian. Brian Sington says, "Is the Social good to be here? Is the Social Security estimated benefit statement we receive is today's dollars?" Such a good observation. Oh, people screw this up all the time. In Social Security, it just I've done videos on this where they discount themselves or I did a video that says Social Security undersells itself. So people are saying, I'm putting $500 a month into an account. It's be worth $1 million in 40 years. I'll be able to get $50,000 a year off that. I put $1,000 a month into Social Security, whatever, and my Social Security payment's only going to give me $2,700 a month at my full retirement age. That $2,700 a month on your statement is today. It's not factoring in the average wage index and then the COLAs that you'll get as well. It's freaking nuts, dude. And so people sit there and think they're comparing a Social Security in today's dollars versus a future benefit on inflated assets, with the growth. Kills me. I did a video on this. I was on the libertarian thing. And these guys were freaking harping, whatever, negative on Social Security, and they just didn't get it. They were sitting there, Social Security is a freaking theft. Social Security is going to illegals. Social Security, I was like, would you guys stop? You're not looking at the reality on the ground. You have this in your head that Social Security is a theft. And look, man, it's a tax. Tax is theft. I get that, 100%. But, welcome to the freaking real world. But what you're looking at for Social Security is today's dollars in 2020. And yet you're comparing what you're going to get off a private investment in the future, $2,040. It's stupid to do that, but everyone does, because Social Security doesn't state it that this is today's benefits. Do not compare this to future benefits, because it will be completely different. It's going to be completely different. And on top of that, when they do that too, it hurts when people take Social Security early, because they don't recognize when they're taking the benefit at 62, they're taking, let me just draw this out for you. All right, so we got, let's just, for simplicity, we're going to say, we get black. You can get 1,000 at 62, 1,500 at 67, or 2,000 at 70. All right, so this is your Social Security benefit. If you took it early, you get 1,000. If you took it at full retirement age, you get 1,500. If you took it at delayed earnings credits, you get 2,000. They both, all three of them get a 2.6% COLA. All three of them get 2.6% a year a cost of living adjustment. All right, so this one gets $26. So the $1,000 will get $26, right? $1,000. 1,000 gets a $26 raise. The 1,500 gets 2.6%, 39. And the 2,000 gets 52. All right. So the $2,000 gets $26 more than the $1,000. And it just keeps going like this. So next year it'll be $28 more. Next year, $30 more. The next year, $32 or whatever, it's 33. The difference between this, and this, it spreads more and more each year, because even though it's the same cost of living adjustment, the base is different. And because the base is different, the actual net dollars incredibly favors taking it at 70 in terms of just cost of living adjustments, because the spread is so much, it gets wider and wider and wider and wider each year. And this is compounding, by the way. So the cost of living adjustment is compounding. So you're going to get $2,056, $1,026, and next year, let's say it's a 2.6%. Again, this will be more than $26 more than what the difference was between them next year. And so what happens is Social Security doesn't show that as well. So the bigger your base is when you draw your benefit, the more the cost of living adjustment in terms of real dollars, which is all that matters, is going to benefit you. And Social Security doesn't state that either. It's freaking stupid. Half my age. Quick to forgive, slow to anger. If my best advice, someone half my age, is 10-10-80, Cody. That means 10% to you put 10% away, 10% to church and charity, and 80% to live on. I learned that from Andy Stanley, who's a non-denominational pastor down here in Georgia. When I don't go to his church, but I listen to his preaching. 10-10-80, 10 to you, 10 to the church, 80% to live on. I think that's great. Oh, will you be discussing any financial issues tonight? You are great at financial issues, especially those related to retirement. I guess Curtis, I don't know. I think I do, but okay. I think Curtis is being a little bit passive aggressive there, huh? And saying you don't like going off to other tangents, but okay. Let's see what else we got here, and then we'll wind it down here. As a result of one of your other videos, I bought VCIT. Don't know what that is. Gotta go. See you later. All right. Cindy B, join late. Don't like tenants and toilets. Check out Triple Net Commercial Properties. Tenants are responsible for all expenses and maintenance. You should do a video on that, brother. You got a channel? Triple Net Commercial Properties. Tesla was low risk 90 days ago. Mac attack. Yep. I think we're gonna. Josh says sell Rosh convert. Yeah. All right. Take it easy. Yeah, there you go. Right on, man. All right. I think I'm winding down here. So I posted. I don't know. Let's just get this off the top here. Election season's coming. I am not going to shy away. You don't have to watch. I mean, I do so many videos. Just avoid the ones you don't want, or unsubscribe, whatever you want to do. I enjoy this platform, and that doesn't mean it's going to be for everybody, but I enjoy it immensely, and I have a stake in the politics. I do, as do you. And financial planning is inherently a political thing because the taxes drive financial planning, and so to pretend that I don't have a favorite in this would be silly, and it's not honest. And I'll talk about it. I like politics, I like sports, I like grilling, I like my family, I love the Lord, and I like financial planning. So I'm going to talk about it. No one has to be here. I don't know what else to say that. Somewhat, I don't know. I get on occasion, stick to finance. I'm not going to do that. And just, it's kind of like with Rush Limbaugh, they say, stick to issues, Rush. And when Rush talks about football, I like it when I don't talk about golf, so I don't know anything about golf. But I like it when Rush Limbaugh and other guys talk about other things, just the thing of the day. It frankly bores me. I like when people go off on tangents on other stuff that's important to them because you get to know them better. And you feel like you're part of the, like with Rush Limbaugh, I've been listening to him since 1992, and I've never met the guy. I bet he's probably introverted and a real person too. But I like hearing his stories. It's fun for me, and I will. And so I've learned from that guy to reach out to your audience. You don't want to be a robot. Let's just put it that way. And I could never do that anyway. I don't have the capacity. And some people don't like it. That's fine. But I just never. Richard Rush always says when he talks about the Super Bowl or something like that, the stick to the issues crowd. That always cracks me up. Because it's like, man, how do people not like that? That's why when I watch Flemlow Raps talk about football, we're talking about Joe Horn and talk about Maurice Claret. I mean, those stories are just they're great. You hear stories. People like stories, man. And that doesn't mean it's just, I don't know. I don't know. For me, there's tons of people out there just doing videos on financial planning. It just bores me to death, especially when it comes to the fact that there's real people here, man. And if I can relay, like my man Cody, some personal experiences that might help him a little bit that have nothing to do with necessarily finance, I'm not gonna avoid that at all. And if I could steer some other people to not be alarmist about climate change because it's silly, if I can steer some other people not to be alarmist about Social Security because it's silly, I'm not going to hesitate to do that. If I can steer a couple of people away from a socialist take over the Democratic Party because that's not good for America, I'm going to do it because socialism is evil. It's evil in every single context. It's never worked. Do not tell me Denmark is socialist. Sweden is not socialist. Don't want to hear it. That doesn't mean capitalism is perfect, but of all the things we tried, capitalism certainly is better. But anyway, that's just my point. And I mean, I will do this. I'm the last person here doing it because it makes me feel good. And of course, I always had my backup partner there, Pablo, too. So anyway, I just had to get that off my chest because I get this on occasion, and it actually annoys me. I'm like, dude, I don't get it. I'm not going to stop. And it seems like a lot of times the same people are saying the same things. I wish you'd stick to financial planning. I'm just not gonna. It bores me. I like talking about taxes. I like talking about Social Security. I like talking about the Patriots, the Bruins, being from Maine, my dog. I like talking about barbecue grilling. I just like talking about hearing people who retire. All right. So anyway, we do this every Sunday at 7:30 p.m. Be there or be square. And if you're on my Subscribestar, so I have a membership on Subscribestar, which is subscribestar.com/Josh Scanlon. And we do live streams solely for those people. I haven't figured out if we want to do twice a month or once a month, but we've done it once a month now for the last 2 months. I only got 50 something like that subscribers. It's $10 a month. And so if you want to have more of your stuff answered, specifically to there, I don't make it live on YouTube because it's kind of a reward for people for subscribing to my Subscribestar channel, and they get a little bit more, and then you can actually even not pick up the horn, but you can actually call view IP, which is pretty cool actually. And I do that once, like I said, right now it's been once a month. I might do it twice. we'll see how it shakes out. But anyway, so I do that. So subscribestar.com/Josh Scanlon. It's $10 a month, and you can, hell, you cancel whatever you want. I don't care. But all right, blessings to you all, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for being here. We'll see you next Sunday. Thanks, guys.